All right, welcome Teach Better family. We are back this week, and you might see a familiar face, someone who was missing for a little while, maybe over in the UK. I don't know, but Mr. Brad Hughes is back in action. It was so great to have you in the admin mastermind. Is it a little weird being back in the world of Canada?
It's great to be back. Had a wonderful time in the UK, but Josh, great to reconnect with you and all of our admin mastermind participants, as well as members of our Teach Better family. That's Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. It's free to register, free to sign up. You just head over to teachbetter.com/mastermind. If you missed this week, or if you'd like to join us on a weekly basis, come and go as you can and get involved in some great conversation, mutual support, opportunity to share and get feedback on your perspectives and your particular challenges in your life as a school leader.
Yeah, I love it. And we're going through this topic, maintaining our momentum in the month of August. And we've already had a couple sessions already on this topic, but today was extremely powerful. We only had 3 questions this week, but the chatter and the conversation was extremely rich. And I'm super excited to talk through, some of the things that we discussed. We did kind of a fun little would you rather type situation with, would you rather have a motivational mentor who's keeping you accountable, but also applying pressure, or having a robotic assistant that gets things done, but maybe lacks the personal touch that's needed. And it was really fun to hear the different perspectives of why one would be better than the other or what is needed for that personal thing. But the reason I asked that was because it was really a bridge to get to the first question, which was, what are some effective strategies you have used to maintain momentum during challenging times as a school leader? So, Brad, what were your takeaways from what was shared for that question?
One takeaway for me, Josh, was how the changeable nature of our roles in each of our school buildings can interrupt or challenge the momentum that we're trying to achieve. And so I think of our previous conversations through Admin Mastermind, Josh, on what our operational priorities are and what our strategic priorities are as the foundation of why we do what we do. It all comes down to improving kids' lives. They're improving their learning lives, improving the relationships with with one another and with us as faculty members, and also strengthening our school community. So when we think about momentum, any small shift, any learning that we're engendering, anything that we're realizing, or anything that we're bringing about, it can be about that small shift that's reaching us towards those goals of improving kids' lives. And momentum can be so tenuous, can it? I mean, something can happen unexpected that can kind of shift your immediate perspective and lead to a sense of urgency. But continuing to come back to those foundational priorities, your operational goals and your strategic goals, as we've discussed too, is key. So maintaining momentum was a key part of our conversation today. And I'm wondering what's coming to mind for you in terms of our admin takeaways.
Yeah, I just love the practical strategies that were discussed, because you're right. There was a lot of different examples provided of interruptions. And so some people were talking about like how they would reorganize their desk or certain things, files and whatnot, to just kind of reset themselves. More
Yeah.
of that mentality piece, or looking at their calendar and analyzing it to make sure that the time was going where it needed, because so often we get stuck behind a desk instead of getting out into doing our relational walks or our time with students. And so I thought that was great. And then also, our checklist. A lot of times we make these grand lists of things that need to get done, and then everything flips upside down, and there's craziness on the campus where you can't get to that, and just kind of completing easy tasks to feel at least like you're getting some momentum and things done. So those are just some things that were mentioned that I could think of that were really beneficial as far as setting that mindset, but also getting that momentum started so that you can get into, maybe some more difficult tasks and things that need to get done. All right, man, let's talk about the second question. So Brad, they were talking through some things that were some setbacks. So the question was, share examples of times when your school faced a setback and share how you overcame that obstacle. So what were your takeaways from what was shared for this question?
Josh, one was continuing to have a learner's mindset as a school leader. And we all serve learning communities. And so setbacks are inevitable. We have to expect that even the best laid plans are going to go awry, and we're going to encounter setbacks, whether they're minor setbacks, It could be a quick misunderstanding or something unexpected that happens, or there could be something critical that occurs where the entire school community has to rally support and perspective behind addressing something critical that's going on. So continuing as school leaders to model that learner's mindset. So it's not a win-lose proposition, it's win-learn. Like, what are we learning through addressing the setback as a team? How are we leveraging the strengths and expertise of our faculty members and maybe even our extended community to address the setbacks that are occurring? Digging deep on why the setbacks are occurring and how we can respond positively is really key. One takeaway for me too, Josh, was the importance of school leaders to model that shoulder to shoulder responsiveness, being present both physically and also present emotionally and attentively in terms of helping staff to work through setbacks, keeping that positive but focused intention, but also addressing communication needs, especially if there's a setback or something critical that happens. Let's face it, as setbacks occur, our emotions rise, and our emotions rise and are contagious together. And that is a key combination where gaps in communication can lead to misunderstandings, they can lead to assumptions, or even jump to worst case scenarios. And so as school leaders, when we arrive at a moment where there's a setback that's been occurred, we acknowledge it, we share information about what we know and what we don't yet know, and we rally support to address the setback, and we can remain open to questions. What's coming to mind for you?
Well, I think one of our amazing administrators talked about just the fact that, being new on a campus and over some time they've realized that there's cultural norms on the campus that have been established that they just don't agree with. And, trying to navigate how to kind of push back on that and to make that change so that it's not something that's established on that campus. And, someone else had talked about just, understanding that, their experiences are different. Their training's different than the staff that they're currently serving. So they need to make sure that they understand that, they need to meet them where they are right now, but then also that it takes time for that initiative to become a cultural norm. And it's something that has to be baby steps. It can't be overnight. As we know, schools are really ingrained with, kind of pushing back on change. So, just having that understanding before really taking off with an initiative. And I thought all of those things were great reminders for our administrators.
I'm
So,
wondering too, as if we're introducing new initiatives, Josh, I'm wondering too how we can reassure our faculties and our communities that we are together with them as we're
yep.
learning through new initiatives. I wonder how many of our educators have experienced sort of gotcha leadership or fault finding leadership when there is a setback. Who's responsible? Who let this happen? Rather than the fact that, I mean, setbacks are inevitable, and setbacks are things that the community can grow through. And so rather than having a gotcha perspective when or a fault finding perspective when setbacks happen, we model acceptance and acknowledgement. If there are consequences to work through, then we work through them with with our faculty and with our reports. But above all, we want to make sure that any new initiative that we're leading, in order to keep the momentum, we have to earn and then to continue to re-earn and gain that trust that we're going to progress through those new initiatives together.
I love it. Such a great point. So, Brad, we ended the conversation with a fun, creative conversation, which was on sharing creative ideas for team building activities. And I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of social media posts lately about like things not to do and like, please don't make us do this again. So, I wanted us, as far as an admin mastermind, to find some creative ways to make sure that we're having our staff get to know each other a little bit, but also creating a momentum for our ongoing initiatives. And we had some fun and creative ideas. So, what was shared during this question?
One thing that was shared was the dichotomy that school leaders experience between the tension where we feel that educators may simply want to be left alone to do what they need to do to get their own tasks done to start the school year, to make sure that they are welcoming their classes in effectively and supportively. But also, it is key that we as school leaders and as school communities are strengthening our network of educators, strengthening both the professional and the educational knowledge of whose superpowers can support kids in terms of their learning and in terms of their social emotional needs. And so it doesn't have to be, I don't think, an either or prospect that our masterminders kind of echoed. It doesn't have to be team building, icebreakers, and raw cheerleading. at the expense of important opportunities to get what has to get done. I think as school leaders, we just acknowledge that tension. Hey, we are all preparing for an exciting school year. All of us has an opportunity to do what we need to do to make sure we have our own ducks in a row, but we can't let these opportunities to strengthen our network go to waste. So one key takeaway for me, Josh, was how the school leader can involve staff members in what might work for you. What would make this 90 minutes of time effective for you, whether it's a faculty meeting to start the school year or taking a look at school data. Like, if you were to leave this 90 minutes together with X, Y, or Z, what might that be? What might work for you? And finally, how can we involve our faculties in creating those opportunities so that they're hopefully more meaningful than not, more practical than not, and more memorable than not? We actually have an opportunity to have people leave meetings feeling not only that was worth my time, but excited for more.
Yeah, I loved just how they were talking through communicating, okay, this is a strategy that we're going to do with you all, but this is something that we want you to implement in the classroom also. So it felt like twofold, that it wasn't just a waste of time. It was something that was a part of the initiative that they were trying to construct on the campus, but then it was also something that was a tool that the teachers can use in addition. So it felt like there was more meeting, because so many times, and I know, Brad, you probably have gone through this. I know I have myself. You've gone through a PD session. They make you do some type of weird activity, and you're just like, what's the point of this? I don't understand. And then, maybe you're not connecting with other people through that activity. And so it just kind of falls flat. And so I think the big takeaway for myself was just having that connection of, there's importance to what we're doing and everything that we're doing. It's great to connect with your staff, but then also to find that balance so that people aren't uncomfortable with whatever activity that you're building. And it was really fun to hear from Ray and Katie too, because they were sharing about, where we were just not too long ago. What was that? A year ago, last summer, with our retreat and some of the fun, like crazy games that we did that really strengthened our team.
Strengthening the team is an opportunity that we have to invest in, and just like you said, it takes intention. It takes being clear on our instructional and our community priorities as school leaders, but also taking every opportunity we can, Josh, to peel back those layers of why we're doing what we do, and inviting feedback. I mean, if our faculty meeting results in a setback or misunderstanding, we want to make sure that we are open to learning through that process. And how can we make it better? And how can we make it better by leveraging each other's superpowers or strengths to grow the kind of learning community that we desire and that our kids deserve?
Yeah, I love it. Well, we're going to continue this conversation with maintaining our momentum for the month of August. So if you weren't able to be there for the last meeting here, please make sure that you join us next Tuesday. Your voice is important. And I don't know about you, Brad, but I feel like I learn something every week with this group. That's phenomenal conversations. I also want to mention that we have an Administrator Summer Live series on YouTube. So since you're already on the channel, jump over there. I had the wonderful opportunity to be with Brad Hughes as we talked for about an hour on an important topic, but we also had 3 different videos for the series specifically for administrators. So I want to highlight that. So make sure you head over there for that free PD on YouTube. And then, of course, just join us for every recap and for each meeting every Tuesday morning. And Brad, I just appreciate you so much and being the co-facilitator in this conversation.
Appreciate you so much too, and a moment of appreciation for all of our admin masterminders that are able to attend Tuesdays. I mean, this work is no joke. It's time intensive, it's energy intensive, it's emotional, it's passionate, and so when we have an opportunity to come together, even for a few minutes each and every Tuesday, it's meaningful for all of us. So thank you to those that have attended, and a huge invitation to those that haven't yet attended. Come and join us. It's time well spent and a network worth growing. So, and thanks to you, Josh, for spearheading that and for this opportunity to recap.
I love it. So if anyone needs any support, please make sure you reach out to Brad Hughes and myself. We are always here for you, and that goes for the Teach Better team. Can't wait to see everyone on Tuesday, and I hope you have a wonderful week.